As the troops gather to do battle in this, the 13th week of the NFL season, we have the classic confrontation. Do you slug it out on the ground with Kansas City's biggest weapon, Christian Okoye? Or do you look skyward, where superior air power can dominate with one of the greatest bombers of all time? He'll be setting his sights on the chief secondary, Dan Marino of the Dolphins, zeroing in on his favorite target, Mark Clayton. With playoff hopes on the line, it will be more than just Okoye and Marino, as both teams will use every bit of firepower at their command.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Arrowhead Stadium, where it is clear, but it is cold. The temperature is 23 degrees, the wind calm, the forecast is sunny. Let's take a look at the standings. First, in the East, Miami, 7-5. 4 games remaining. You win 4, they can make the playoffs. To the West, Kansas City's record, 5-6-1. 4 games remaining. Win 4, they could make the playoffs. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones. This is Merlin Olsen. Legitimately 2 playoff teams.
Absolutely, Charlie, but both talking the same language. They say very simply, we cannot afford to lose this game.
Strength against strength.
Absolutely. If Marino is healthy, this Miami passing attack, one of the greatest of all time, and certainly the strength of this Miami team. He says he's ready to go today. He's nursing some injuries, says he's ready to go. But he'll go into the face of one of the great pass defenses in the league. Number 2 overall against the pass. They have allowed the least touchdown passes of any team in the NFL.
On the other side, strength against weakness.
Okoye is a strength. The big bull, 260 pounds, great speed. He'll be trying to chop up a Miami defense that has been notoriously weak against the running game. And they also are missing Louis Oliver, their big free safety, who is such an important part of that run defense.
And the key to the game.
Charlie, I think it's very simple. I think the Miami defense, their performance today is the key to this game. They have to play a great game, and in particular, they have to take the ball away from Kansas City, give Miami some field possession. They've not done that well during this season.
And we have 2 head coaches that can motivate their teams.
We certainly do. Down on the far side, Don Shula, a little tight-jawed, a little extra serious as he approached this game today, but he is one of the all-time greats in the NFL. And there you see Marino in the background.
An interesting story. Notice the pads that he has on. Merlin had these pads, rib pads and his shoulder pads, up here with us so we could demonstrate to you during the game the massiveness of his pads, because he wanted to try some that were even larger.
Well, they wanted some extra protection, Charlie, for both the shoulder and the ribs, but he was having trouble throwing the ball comfortably. He said, send my old pads back down. These new ones are going back in the locker.
So we had him here for a while. We kept him warm, and we sent him back down.
Marty Schottenheimer on the far side. What a great job he has done with this Chiefs team. He's built on the strengths of this team. He has done a marvelous job of strengthening the weaknesses.
Kansas City won the toss. They'll be receiving to our right. And these are the deep returners. Number 84 is Naz Worthen. Number 25 is Danny Copeland. And the kicker, Pete Stoyanovich. You want to know how cold it is? You can see your breath.
But it is not windy, at least not down on the field, and that is terribly important.
And we're underway. At the 10-yard line, it is Copeland to the 20. A flag is down, and Copeland is down at around the 29-yard line. Brian Kitchen makes the tackle. And the penalty will go against Kansas City. It was a 19-yard return, and so most of that will be nullified. Kansas City features an offensive line that plays well together. On passing downs, there's a change at left guard where Mark Addix comes in. Now, backs and receivers. The fullback, number 35, Christian Okoye, leads the ground attack with more than 1,000 yards. When Kansas City goes to the shotgun, he comes out along with the running back and the tight end. Rookie Todd McNair comes into the backfield. Emil Harry and Clarence Weathers come in as additional wide receivers. Kansas City, first down. And they open up with their firepower, Christian Okoye, and he has 4 to the 19. It'll be second down and 6. Miami's defense is playing better. Their statistics do not reflect that improvement. On passing downs, 3 of the 4 linebackers come out. John Bosa comes in at defensive end. Don McNeil and Rodney Thomas join as secondary. That is without the free safety Louis Oliver, who is bothered with a shoulder injury, and Merlin, that can really hurt them. Second down and 6, 3 wide receivers for Kansas City. Vandenberg to throw, drops it off to the right to Okoye and misses him completely from about 8 feet away. I think we've got some butterflies early in this ball game. Big ball game.
Well, you have to question Okoye, not a great receiver, and they want to get him into the passing game. They feel that if they can get him the ball in the passing game, he becomes even more effective. But because he's so inexperienced as a receiver, does not run those precise routes yet. And I think they may be asking him about the timing, saying, Christian, got to be ready a little quicker for that ball. But it is not easy to throw the ball, Charlie, when it's this cold.
And now Manley, Page, Harry, and Weathers, 4 wide receivers. Third down and 6 from the shotgun. DeBerg, lots of time. And he was simply throwing it away. There was nobody near where he was going. Either that, or he was hoping that somebody would come back to help out on that side as he had pressure.
Simply did not have enough time, Charlie. Pattern did not develop, and he had to get rid of the ball. As Soche, number 70, in there to work on him along with Bosa, number 97. They'll have to kick it away.
Kelly Goodburn with a 41-yard average will be kicking to Scott Schwades.
Schwades has had trouble handling the ball.
Good kick, no win, backpedals at the 35, puts the tackle, 40, and he's got around 11 yards on the return. Let's take a look at that Miami offense. Miami features an offensive line that has allowed an NFL low of just 6 sacks. Backs and receivers with Dan Marino, the question mark, with that injured right shoulder. He told us he's ready to go. On passing down, both running backs and the tight end will come out. Jim Jensen comes into the backfield. Andre Brown and Fred Banks come in as wide receivers. Miami's first opportunity on offense. Sammy Smith. Smith more effective running to his left because he loves to carry the ball in his left hand. Kansas City's defense, well, it's second in the National Football League. An outside linebacker, number 58, Derek Thomas, is the leading candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. On passing downs, the other 3 linebackers come out. Lewis Cooper comes in, and J.C. Pearson and Stan Petrie join an excellent secondary that also makes a change as Kevin Porter comes out as strong safety, and he is replaced by the experience of Lloyd Burroughs. First down, Miami. And it's Sammy Smith again. 41-yard line of Kansas City.
Miami did some good things in that game last week against Pittsburgh. One of them was the running of Sammy Smith, who told me early today that he is much more comfortable now with this offense, does not have to do as much thinking, can allow his instincts to take over a little bit, and of course he's healthy. He was injured after holding out through the preseason and injuring an ankle in his first game back.
Jensen checks into the offensive set with the wide receivers. Clayton in motion.
And they want to call an audible. There it is.
And for Marino, his first time in Arrowhead Stadium, the pass is incomplete. He was going to Duper. And he told us last night, the problem I have is I don't know how loud the crowd's going to be. When I go to audibles, will they be able to hear me, or will I have to go to hand signals?
Well, this is a big December crowd for Arrowhead Stadium. And then every quarterback, there they are. And they're an enthusiastic crowd. The stadium built in such a way that it is noisy on the field, Charlie. I don't think he's going to have a trouble getting his audibles out today unless he's in a period of this game where things are really tense.
3rd down and 8. 6 in the secondary, 4 wide receivers for the Dolphins. Jensen's the motion man. Jensen is open. He's got it. Drops it. Right in his hands. He was hit immediately by Chris Martin, the linebacker, who had the coverage. Crash bobbles this one.
Crash dropped 2 passes last week. One of them bobbled for an interception that was costly. And his first opportunity today, dropped again. You don't get out of the doghouse that way.
So Reggie Roby will be kicking on 4th down. Naz Worthen is the return man. And he wants to just hang this up and have the coverage come underneath it and catch it, and they touch it, and it goes into the end zone for the touchback.
This looks like one of those baseball plays where the infielders run together, or the outfielders, Charlie. A perfect kick by Roby and perfect positioning by the players underneath it. Watch them right here. They're right under that ball, but then they run into each other. Brown right there and McNeil on the other side, and they crash into each other. Ball goes into the end zone. It'll go out to the 20.
The last time he gave up. This time he won't get the chance.
When 2 legends come together.
One of the casualties of that very wet and muddy game last week, that kicking shoe. Reggie Roby's kicking shoe was absolutely destroyed on the muddy field at Robbie Stadium. Had to put on a brand new shoe. He said, I've got a couple of them. I don't know how this one's going to work.
Kansas City 1st down for their 22nd offensive series. They showed a lot of butterflies in their first series. Does it take that time to settle in on a big game? Kansas City hadn't been in a big game late in the season in a long time. Pair of tight ends in the ball game, and Okoye gets the call.
One of the ways to get rid of the butterflies is to put the big guy up the middle.
That's right. That solves all the problems, doesn't it? You notice the shoulder pads that he is wearing, they look a little strange.
Up behind his neck, Charlie, he had a neck injury early in the year, missed training camp because he had driven his helmet back, and they have put a special restraining device. It bolts right onto his shoulder pads, and it actually locks in, protects him by his helmet can only move so far back. So it's a protection for that neck.
2nd and 6. And here's Okoye. And he is met after 2 yards, 26, maybe 3 to the 27. And E.J. Jr. leads the defense.
Christian Okoye, 254 now. He has been as heavy as 260. Mike Webster early in the season said, hey, both offensive and defensive linemen are afraid of Okoye. When you see him coming, you better get the hell out of the way. Well, he runs into both the offense and the defensive linemen, and when you can run a 4-4 at that size, you can put some hurt on anybody in the way.
And such a gentle man off the field. That's Mike Webster, his offensive center. 3rd down and 3. 4 wide receivers. And DeBerg. Over the middle, it is complete. It's Withers. The play of the game thus far. Jarvis Williams finally tracked him down after a gain of 27.
This is not a one-dimensional team. Don Shula was explicit about that yesterday. They certainly are not, as Weathers, who is down the string of receivers you put your high priority people on, making the big catch and picking up extra yardage. He's one of those receivers picked up off the waiver wire, along with Pete Manley, both very positive additions to this team in the late season.
He's the 4th wide receiver. In fact, that is only the 12th reception of the year. You know, that's 1 a game. Complete tight end, Alfredo Roberts. So now DeBerg is settling in. Alfredo with the tackle.
DeBerg is a streak quarterback. When he is hot, look out. has a fine arm, has a wonderful sense of defenses. I don't think anybody around has been through more patterns and schemes than DeBerg has. He is a great student of the game, wants to be a coach when he finishes playing, but if he gets hot, he'll cook you.
204, 35 yards, 2 of the last 2. Comes back to Okoye. And he has 3 to the 35, and that'll pick up the first down. Brian Sochet, the nose tackle. Again, John Offerdahl there for the Miami defense.
One of the things that Kansas City did so well last week against the Houston Oilers in that shutout was to mix their plays on first down. In fact, in the first half, they threw 7 times and ran 5 times. They're also mixing well today, starting with the run, coming right back with the pass.
Saxon and Hurd are the running backs. Passing formation. Deep over the middle, complete, 11-yard line. Devon Page, 24 yards.
Devon Page has become the man late in the season here as far as the receiving game goes. The reason for that, very simply, he can get open. Look at that fine move right there on Judson. Miami's weakness in that secondary at the corners, and Kansas City very quick to exploit it.
And the ball resting on the 10-yard line, and as you look at the ball, if it is touching the chalk mark, it'll be, and it is, it'll be first down and goal to go.
Is it right on the mark, Charlie?
Yes, right on the mark. 3 wide receivers. Saxon spinning to the 3.
With all of the attention people pay to Okoye, you can't ignore Saxon, a slashing runner. He showed you a great quick start there, and those who had their eyes on the big man were left in the dust.
And Lifford Hobley makes the tackle.
Hobley in for Lewis Oliver, the safety that is missing today because of a shoulder injury. He said he's only able to get that arm up about 15 degrees. Kind of hard to play in there with that bruise that won't allow you to raise your arm.
At the 3, second and goal to go. Okoye is back in, and Tommy Agee is in. Okoye slides to the right side, dives, touchdown.
Okoye is not a fast starting back, not a quick starter out of that backfield. Needs a little room to get underway. And one of the things they're working with him, trying to get him to do, is to avoid tackles better. Here he does that. No hole inside, and Miami turns him to the sideline. That's what they want to do defensively, but after they got him turned, they did not get him down on the ground. Just too strong. Turns it upfield, puts it in the end zone.
An 80-yard drive in 8 plays, no flags in the entire drive, and Lowry will attempt the point after. And he hooks this one. It is no good. Ooh. His first miss of the year, and that breaks his string. He never misses an extra point.
He had pressure on that, but he is usually able to overcome it. We'll go back and take a look after this.
It's uncanny how this car turns one person after another into a real driving enthusiast.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze and STP gas treatment. By Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer, we build excitement. And by Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies, the silver bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now.
As we come back, Lowry kicking off with Andre Brown and Lorenzo Hampton, the deep backs on the return, and here is Brown. Ooh. And down very quickly was Danny Copeland, 9 yards on the return.
Charlie, let's go back to that missed extra point. And here is the man right here, Jeff Cross, getting around Mark Cannon. A pass rushing move is going to put him right here. And Lowry, trying to get away from that, just pulls the ball off to the side. But you see that great slap and swim, and he's right there. Lowry trying to compensate, hooks the ball away, and Charlie, he ended the streak.
197. He's got to start another one.
Now, that could be a costly miss later in this ball game.
Reno, lots of time, goes deep, and it is incomplete. He was looking to Duper, and Kevin Ross had the coverage. Reno now 0 for 3. Let's check around the league. No score early. We understand a lot of snow and bad weather in the East, particularly Cleveland and New England.
That'll help keep those donuts on the board for a while.
Yes, it will. We've got the only score.
A question as to how well Marino would be able to throw the ball deep today. His first deep pass incomplete.
2nd and 10. Here's Sammy Smith. Leonard Griffin with the tackle. I've never been this nicked in my 7 years in Miami.
Very few players.
Miami's misspelled in case I think it's right here.
Miami.
That's the way Dan pronounces it.
Some people say it that way, Charlie. Hey, interesting to me, Charlie, every player at this time of the year, unless he's sitting the bench, is nursing some injuries. But Marino had elbow, ribs, and shoulder 3 weeks back-to-back, so he really has been there.
What did Shula say? The ribs made him forget about the elbow. The shoulder made him forget about the rib.
Only one injury at a time. That's all that's allowed.
Incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Fred Banks, the intended receiver. Kevin Ross had the coverage.
Banks, the third wide receiver in, trying to, in fact, ran Ross off on that place. The Rock biting on that little stutter move, but the timing off on the pattern, and Banks, who's nursing his own back and leg injuries, not able to come up with a catch.
And now Kansas City, an opportunity with good field position.
Let's see how that new shoe does here, Charlie. Well, kicked it low. It does kick it a long way.
Fair catch. Taken at the 36-yard line. 43 yards on the kick. Kansas City has the lead, 6-0.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top. Because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you've got to start with the mountain stream. When a night on the town might last all night, call for the taste preferred at Better Night Spots. The silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right beer now. Did you know if you're an MCI, Execunet, or a Sprint Dial 1 customer and your business spends over $50 a month, you could be in the wrong plan. You can save money with the new AT&T Pro Watts, and we're going to make it easy. We're so sure that you'll see the difference. We'll pay to sign you up. We'll pay to switch you over. And if you're not satisfied within 90 days, we'll even pay to switch you back. All you have to do is call us, 1-800-222-0400. New AT&T Pro Watts, another AT&T advantage.
It's here. 4 doors worth of Grand Prix performance and driving excitement. Introducing the 4-door Grand Prix Sport Sedan.
Get on the Pontiac and ride,
Look it over, check it out, try it on. The new 4-door Grand Prix.
Rebuild excitement, man.
See your dealer about early buyer and other incentives now in the new Grand Prix Sport Sedan.
The game's high rollers.
America's top bowlers.
In a high-stakes showdown.
Lisa Wagner.
Mark Roth.
Marshall Holman.
And the winner of a nationwide competition.
A unique roll-off where the stakes go up as the pins go down.
The Bowling Shootout.
Only on NBC Sports World.
There are degrees, obviously, of cold, but some days are colder than others. The wind is a factor. The fact that you open up the window now is a factor. I just put on my scarf. How cold is it? Because you were on the sidelines earlier.
Charlie, I was down on the field earlier, and you can see that the wind is not blowing on the field. And as long as you're in the sun, it's pretty nice down there. But if the wind starts to pick up, and when the sun leaves the field, it will be cold. but that's a relative cold. An audible by DeBerg.
Play action fake, pump fake. Looked as if he wanted again to go to Okoye.
Well, I think he wanted Jonathan Hayes. In fact, he did want Jonathan Hayes down the middle. And, of course, they're trying to get people to bite on Okoye's move up the middle. It's play action right there. The safeties did not bite for Miami. You see DeBerg, he tries to dump that ball to Okoye. Simply couldn't do that. DeBerg, who is a character to say the least, has a wristband on his wrist, and they call the plays by flashing numbers to him. We'll show you that a little later.
Here's Okoye. 42-yard line. Gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Hugh Green with the tackle. There's the, see all the plays that he has on? He just figured number 1 or number 2, and then he looks down and he reads it and searches it out and calls it. The DeBerg file, 13 years in the National Football League, 5 different teams, 10 different head coaches, 10 different offensive coordinators. I think he knows every system in the world. We asked him what was the easiest one.
Charlie, he was willing to share that with us. He said it was the 3-number system that numbered each receiver, and you could call anything you wanted with that. But offside, Miami.
Free play. Going deep and incomplete. Weathers, the intended receiver. Judson had the coverage. We'll come back to the flag.
Charlie, the thing that interested me about that is all of the terminology and all of the different concepts. And he's had a marvelous chance to study. He said he has all the playbooks. He must have a big library. When he moves, he's got a rented trailer just for that. But let's listen to this.
Offside, number 56 on the defense. First down.
Offerdahl offside. John, who has settled back into his role in the middle. Right-hand side of your screen, number 56. Watch this. There are several people jumping as DeBerg gets them off. Inside lineman, that's Cross, number 91, is the first man to jump, and Offerdahl got a bad rap on that one. But I told DeBerg, I said, you ought to be an interpreter. You ought to be a linguistics expert. You probably know every form of terminology in the NFL.
First down at the 47, 2 tight ends. The first back through is Saxon. And he'll go to the Miami 48. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5. DeBerg said during the offseason, he said, I always plan to go through all the playbooks and distill them and come up with the perfect system. He said, but I'm either changing teams, changing head coaches, or changing coordinators, and I've got to learn a new system that I can't get to.
Exactly right. He would like to, and I think it would be a great idea, the definitive football language. And certainly he's qualified to do it.
2nd and 5. Okoye cuts back. 44-yard line. Gain of 4 is going to be 3rd down. Actually about 1.5 yards for the first down. Okoye 26 yards in 7 carries. He has his 10th touchdown, scoring the only touchdown of this ball game. 6 100-yard games, and the numbers just keep adding up on this young man. Very quiet off of the field.
He's certainly very soft-spoken, but kind of changes his colors when he puts on that helmet.
Recovered by John Alt. Miami says they have it. Oh, Alt couldn't hang on to it.
There's the turnover we talked about. There was the hit. Boy, they really stacked it in the line. And as big as Okoye is, he just gets nailed here. Watch this hit. Bam! I think that's Offerdahl, one of the people in the hole. Cross is another one. Alt had the ball. It broke out of his hand, and Miami has the turnover.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
This Christmas week.
You hear the good hits in the NFL. You heard that one.
Miami with the turnover from their own 49-yard line. Clayton in motion, and coming back to this side is Sammy Smith.
Miami pleased to see Harry Galbraith back in that lineup, Charlie, at guard, nursing an ankle injury. There he is, number 62. Very important cog. And Charlie, you talked about it in your setup of the ball game. This is a great pass-protecting offensive line. And, of course, they're trying to run the ball a lot better. The big number here, and that's updated today, the difference in the giveaways for Miami. That's a horrible number.
Sammy Smith, he fumbled. Kansas City has it.
Saliamua, are they calling him down? Are they saying he was down? No, they're not. Saliamua with the ball. And here we go again. Sammy Smith in traffic. The hit right on the ball. Pretty hard to hang on. His 6th fumble of the year, Charlie.
5 turnovers last week led to 17 Pittsburgh points.
5 turnovers that were unanswered. They were a -5 in the turnover ratio last week against Pittsburgh. And after breaking the ball loose with a fumble, they give it right back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
First down, sheet 43, play action, big play, right side. Page has it. Jarvis Williams, Lippert Hobley, 19 yards, first down, Kansas City.
Stephon Page saw his record broken last week in that Sunday night game as Flipper Anderson went for 336 yards. Page had held the all-time record up to that point, set it back in '85, 309 yards. Great moves, great hands. There's the wristband. You see him calling the play.
Flipper did it in overtime, though.
Flipper did it in overtime. He certainly did. But Stephon Page can burn you. Caught 7 passes last week, Charlie.
DeBerg deep, has his man, it'll be a touchdown. Page, his first of the year.
You think he's setting his sights on 327 today?
You'd love to have it. Page, 3 receptions, 82 yards and a touchdown, and now the extra point attempt.
And you better believe there's some concentration on this one.
And Nick Lowry starts the new spring, and Kansas City leads 13-0.
Number 83, Stephon Page, right-hand side of your screen. Isolated on Langford back there, number 44. And Langford, no match for Page's speed. No safety there to back him up deep. And Page streaks through the end zone.
57 yards on the drive, 2 plays. They capitalize on the turnover.
To get in gear. This Kansas City Chief team, Charlie, coming off that 34-0 shutout of Houston last week, have a great feeling about themselves. They are really exploding. Their defense playing so tough over the last 7 or 8 weeks. And right now, Miami needs to do something to get back into this ballgame.
Marino is yet to complete a pass. Miami's total offense thus far, 25 yards, all on the ground. Lowry will kick off to either Andre Brown or Lorenzo Hampton.
Not a good kick. It'll go out of bounds. Lowry having some trouble today, Charlie.
Not like him.
Very consistent kicker over the years.
And let's check the 10-minute ticker. Cincinnati, Cleveland, no score. Pittsburgh with a field goal. New England up 6-0 over Indianapolis. Philadelphia early lead. Green Bay the early lead. Detroit 7-0 over New Orleans. Rams quickly in front of Dallas. And San Francisco by 6 in front of Atlanta. And so with the kick going out of bounds, Miami will start from their own 35-yard line. Marino needs a completion. And he has one. He goes to the tight end, Farrell Edmonds. Oh, and now the firepower has started on both sides.
What a nice throw by Dan Marino. The key here, the amount of time he has, a 25-yard completion. Watch him feel the pressure. Just take a little step here to the left. And plenty of time then. Marino, the great toss, the great accuracy. I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to watch him throw the football.
At the Kansas City 40, first down. Here is Sammy Smith carrying the ball in his right arm. He's been working on it. That's been one of his problems. And that completion puts Marino over 3,000 yards. The play goes to the 36-yard line.
Well, he's right about the last part of that. Now is the time. Not only blowing an opportunity last week against Pittsburgh, a game that they started so hot in, but they really can't afford to get any further behind. They better get it going now.
Second down and 6. He goes to the left side. Clayton slips the tackle. Goes a little stiff arm. Fumbles the ball. Kansas City has it at 20. Another turnover. Deliamua. That's 2. Dino Hackett guarded loose.
Sometimes you get in trouble by trying to do too much, Charlie. Clayton, he's a great runner with the ball actually after he catches it. Watch the end of the play. And it's blindside time by Hackett. He just put his shoulder right through the football and broke it loose. There's no question of fumble, Charlie, and they are reviewing it upstairs. But absolutely a great defensive play. Hard to hang on to that football.
And Kevin Ross shaken up on the play, and he's being attended to. There he is, number 31.
The Rock. He's had some injury problems, but he is tough. What a great player he is, Charlie. Oh, he got the smelling salts up. He got dusted a little bit out there. Here's the end of that play again. The helmet and the shoulder right through the football. That's the way you teach the stripping of the football. You're a young linebacker at home, watch that play. That's the way you want to do it. 56, Dino Hackett.
Kansas City first down at their own 20. Chiefs lead it 13-0. 1:39 left first quarter. Okoye has 5. Barry Krause with the tackle.
Don Shula very upset about those 5 turnovers last week, to say the least. And Charlie, he attributed some of those to carelessness. We've had 2 turnovers for Miami so far in this ball game, but not from carelessness. I would say simply from overpowering hits. But you can't allow that football to get away from you that many times.
And when Okoye turned it over, it was an overpowering hit when he was nailed. 2nd and 5. Okoye. They string him out, still manages to turn upfield, and he'll pick up the first down. He needed 5, he got 6. Offerdahl was chasing him. We've got to put together a streak. We're down to crunch time. Well, they're playing crunch football.
They certainly are. Putting it together, and Schottenheimer and his relationship with this team, a very eye-to-eye coach, a good communicator, a teacher, and that's the role that he sees for himself. Not calling the offensive plays or the defensive plays here. He has assistants who are doing that.
Report on Kevin Ross. There's just a cut on his chin. He'll be back. 17 yards to Pete Manley.
And why is it, Charlie, that when they hand that ball, that they fake that ball into the hands and the stomach of Christian Okoye, that you get such a believability out of that play-action pass? We got something going on downfield. What are they saying here downfield, Charlie? Oh, they're saying he twisted the ball.
And that could be taunting, or it can be a delay of game. Same as you can't spike the ball in the field of play. And the ball, as you saw, it came up spinning. It doesn't just happen that way.
Unsportsmanlike,
that's what it is.
spiking the ball, number 89 on the offense.
Right.
5 yards, first down.
That's right. It's in the rule book. You can't do it if it's in the rule book. So it's simple. Don't do it.
Pete Manley, we mentioned one of the pickups off the waiver wire. Well, Pete, it's a nice trick. I think Marty's going to talk to you a little bit afterwards. Let's watch the catch here. There's the fake. Holds the linebackers, and Manley has time to find the seam in the zone. You saw what he did. Hugh Green late coming back. Able to hold him in there, as was Barry Krause, number 58. And Marty will argue the call, but he knows they're right.
But it's a 5-yard penalty back to the 43, and it's a first down there. 3 wide receivers for Kansas City. Incomplete. Came out looking right, spun back to try and pick up Manley. He was covered by Hugh Green, and he just throws it away, and it's second down.
First quarter score, Green Bay 7.
Tom Olivadotti so happy to have number 56, John Offerdahl, back in there. And Offerdahl, who had contract problems, held out during the year. Talking to him yesterday, there's Olivadotti. Talked to us early in the year about how much he missed the support, the run support of Offerdahl, the leadership of Offerdahl. Of course, John settling quickly back into his role.
Okoye close to the first down. 9 for sure, maybe 10. Jeff Cross with the tackle.
This is a huge offensive line. Number 77, Baldinger. Number 76, Alt, right at that 300-pound mark, clearing the way for big Christian Okoye.
In the first quarter, he rushed for 47 yards.
You want a deal? Well, here comes the deal.
Here's a hot deal.
This deal is real.
How hot?
This deal is hot.
It's on Oldsmobiles.
This deal is not just another deal.
It's Oldsmobiles' new generation celebration. Oldsmobiles made it possible for its dealers to pass along millions of dollars to its customers. Hurry, the deal ends January 3rd.
This is a deal on a new generation. Oldsmobile.
One airline works harder than any other to make sure that a good landing not only means getting you there on time, but landing your bag in your hand on time as well. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Soldier Field, Chicago. Over 300 dead batteries and 1 die-hard battery. Our most powerful ever jump-starts every one. Die-hard. More power when you need it most.
New Year's Day, come home to the best in college football and the game that will determine the national championship. The top-ranked Colorado Buffaloes take on Lou Holtz and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Plus, the beauty and pageantry of the Federal Express Orange Bowl halftime. New Year's Day, the best bowls are on NBC.
We have pointed out the wristband that Steve DeBerg is wearing, and these are the plays on the wristband. You've got to, first of all, you've got to have good eyes to be able to read them.
But Charlie, I was talking to DeBerg down in the locker room, and I said, Steve, I looked at those plays. I said, man, I got good eyes. I had a hard time reading them. And I'd seen he wears glasses. He's got his glasses. He said, don't worry, I got bifocal contacts. I said, I never heard of those. He said, no. He said, I can read them, but you have to be able to really get down and read. But they feel that having the plays here and taking them by number speeds up the signaling process. A lot of verbiage in their offensive calls. They feel that this makes it easier for him to get a play on the field.
DeBerg thinks it takes too much time, though.
He disagrees.
He says the numbers come in, then I've got to find the number and then the play and then call the play.
Of course, they're worried about not just DeBerg, but Fuller, about the other quarterbacks, Elkins, and the other quarterbacks as well. And it's a good system. We're seeing more and more teams going to it.
The statistics of the first quarter: 2 first downs to 8. 190 yards to 67 in time of possession, 57 yards rushing.
And that rushing yardage will allow you to control the clock, and that's, Charlie, that's the strength against weakness that we pinpointed in our opening. Although it's the turnovers that have really colored the game and the texture of this game, as they always do.
3rd down and 1. Play action fake out, 3rd and 1. Going deep to the tight end, knocked away, intercepted. Judson on the return. Great defensive play. Alfredo Roberts, intended receiver. Jarvis Williams tipped it, and William Hudson picked it off for the interception. And a 35-yard return.
We've got a Kansas City player down on the field.
John Alt.
Big John Alt. Boy, that is not good news. Playing so well. Jarvis Williams has had such a fantastic year. Moved over from weak safety or free safety to strong safety. That's actually 29. That's Lifford Hobley. And he flicks it over to the other side. Great catch by William Judson, 49. Fine return. And Miami has evened the turnover count.
If you feel life's more interesting when you make a splash,
it's the right here now.
Lifford Hobley, 29. Watch him bite momentarily on the play action and then recover beautifully on this play. He sees the play right there and then catches up on the play right there and makes the tip. Boy, that is excellent recovery time and a great play defensively.
Play action fake for Marino. He throws, comeback pattern is incomplete. Duper, the intended receiver. Has Marino dropped down a little sidearm on that? Well, is that rib and shoulder bothering him?
It may change the way he throws today, Charlie. He has such clean overarm delivery, but with 3 injuries, and they're on with the elbow of the throwing arm, the shoulder of the throwing arm, the ribs are on the other side. Let's take a quick peek.
See if he drops down. He is. He's dropping down a little bit underneath it. You expect to see him come high over the right ear, you know, with that classic throw.
Well, pain does some interesting things to you.
4 wide receivers. That's Jensen in motion. Stays back to block. Here comes pressure. Hampton has it. Juggled. He'll end up losing 3 or 4 yards, maybe 5. Derek Thomas was just laying in wait for it. Let's check the scores in the other games. Pittsburgh out in front of Houston. Oh, that's interesting. Philadelphia still leading the Giants. Detroit in front. Green Bay in front.
That last play, if Hampton catches the ball cleanly, a chance to get upfield. But you can't give Derek Thomas, with his great speed, that much time to close the gap. He'll put you on the ground.
3rd and 14. Reno rolls, throws back. It is complete at the 40-yard line.
That's something you don't see very often. A planned rollout for Dan Marino. He got the roll, but he couldn't find a receiver deep enough to pick up the first down. Here's Marino. Very rare occurrence. Does not like to roll out of that pocket, although this is the planned roll. Hoping, I think, that Clayton could break out of there and pick up extra yardage. Good defense. 4 of the red shirts right there to stop him.
4th down and 6. Reggie Roby to kick. Naz Worthen, the return man. High snap, pressure. He gets it off. And it will be down around the 20-yard line, maybe the 19. And the pressure came so quick, it may have overrun the kicker.
There's no question they should have blocked the kick. Miami had one that they should have blocked last week just as well. I think they're blowing on that ball to try and make a roll, Charlie.
I think you're
let's
right.
go back and look at Roby. Last week had one on the ground that he couldn't kick away against Pittsburgh. This one he gets away, and there's the man well beyond him. Copeland in there as well, but Roby does a good job to get that football away.
And with the roll, 42 yards.
You want want a deal? Well, here comes the deal.
Here's a hot deal.
This deal is real.
How hot?
This deal is hot.
It's on Oldsmobiles.
This deal is not just another deal.
It's Oldsmobiles' new generation celebration. Oldsmobiles made it possible for its dealers to pass along millions of dollars to its customers. Hurry, the deal ends January 3rd.
This is a deal on a new generation Oldsmobile.
I like wheeling and dealing and a penthouse view, dressing for success and knowing who's who. Bright lights, fast lane, my big-time career. Meetings of the board and cold Coors beer. If you like your beer fresh, pure, and natural, head for the Rockies on the original taste of Coors. Have an ice-cold Coors with a friend of yours. Coors, the Rocky Mountain legend.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas. Radio Shack sale-priced cordless phone, this year's most popular Christmas gift.
Hi, Grandma.
It's for you.
Hi.
It goes from room to room, has a handy redial button, and it's on sale for just $59.95. The sale-priced portable cordless phone.
It's for you.
Hi.
It's a great gift idea.
Sure. It's for you.
For me? It's for me.
The cordless phone, on sale now at Radio Shack, the technology store.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Coors. Enjoy the original taste of Coors, the Rocky Mountain legend. By the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. And by Samsonite. Our strengths are legendary.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City 13, Miami nothing. 12:49 time remaining in the first half. The hands of Mike Webster, the center for Kansas City. Here's Okoye. And he leads to the 26-yard line. Jarvis Williams makes the tackle, so he has 8 on the play.
Charlie, when Okoye was back at Azusa Pacific College, when he first started to play football, he had some troubles knowing about right and left, had a little trouble getting his act together. And one of his teammates, Joe Schulte, brought an arrow to practice, and they would call the play, and then Joe would lay the arrow down, and he said, Okoye, Christian, go right on this one, and he'd point to the arrow. And Christian, we asked him about that last night, and he smiled and said, yes, it's true.
And the arrowhead takes him to the 30-yard line. Okoye again, Hugh Green with the tackle. He's a load, isn't he?
He is a load, and there's a battle going on between Mike Webster and Brian Sauché, both extremely quick players that count on their quickness to use their talent, and that was a great play, getting off Webster's cut block by Sauché. He could use about another 20 pounds, but he has great instincts for the ball, Charlie. Good movement inside, fighting a groin injury right now, but he's a good nose tackle.
Now, you have picked up a veteran's trick, your sneaky eye, of what Mike Webster does, the center.
Mike likes to steal some yardage. We'll talk about that.
First down, Kansas City. And we may have a false start.
Either a false start or
delay.
Trouble with that this year.
That goes back to the wristband, getting the plays in and out in time.
We'll be watching Mike Webster this next play, but I'm teasing him when I talked to him in the locker room yesterday. I said, Mike, I've been watching you. You've been stealing yardage again. He said, I don't even know I do that. But when he goes up, he takes the football and he tips it up, and he'll move it forward slightly, about 4 inches, he said. Watch that. You see him? Now, you just twist the ball. You see him edge that ball forward. He steals about 4 inches at a time. He said, you know, in 3 downs, that's a foot.
I love it. Poirier. 36, maybe the 37-yard line. Paul Langford makes the tackle. Jeff Cross is also there.
Big Christian hammering again. That's a huge offensive line, as I mentioned earlier. He's running left early, runs to the right now. And you notice that upright running style. Okoye very upright as he runs. And the risk of that is that he takes a lot of pounding on his hips and on his legs, Charlie. A danger for injury.
Okoye already has carried the ball 14 times. Pass is complete. First down. Pete Manley. At the 43.
The second down mix. Something. And did Manley spin the ball that time again? No, he didn't. And he's been spinning the ball all year long on each catch. The first time he's been called was today. Red Cashion kind of tough early. He does not spin this one. We watch the catch. Let's see what Manley does with the football. Well, he's not going to. He's looking up. I'm not going to spin this one. He's looking up at Cashion, and he didn't. He didn't. I was going to say second and short. This had been a team, the Kansas City Chiefs, that had done mostly running. They said we've got to break that tendency. They did on that last play with a pass on second and short.
First down, sweep right side. Here's Herman Hurd. Fumble. And Miami has it.
But did Hurd fumble that football as he hit the ground, or was it broken loose? We'll need to see the end of that play. T.J. Turner, number 95, back from injuries he suffered earlier in an auto accident there to scoop that ball up. Watch the end of the play. In the air.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well done. Good hit again. Good hit again. This will give you a little better idea, and we can find out who makes the hit here. Okoye blocking in front. Good block by Lutz 26, Jarvis Williams. And actually didn't hit so much as he just backed up in. And as he took the weight of Herman Hurd on his back, he heads to the sideline. And with Oliver already on the sideline, that would be a crushing blow to this Miami defense.
Miami takes over the ball on the Kansas City 42-yard line. Kansas City out in front, 13-0. 9:14 left to go. Turnovers, as always, a major part of the program. And Miami has really been, they've been stymied.
Well, the exact opposite of what they did in the early part of the game last week. Maybe they're going to own the second part of this game. That's what they'd like to do, Charlie.
Steps forward. He's past the line of scrimmage.
Yes, he is.
He's intercepted. Kansas City will have the ball in the interception. Here's the return from the end zone by Albert Lewis.
Do they have the choice on this one, Charlie?
You bet they do.
They'll take it. They'll take the football. The turnover bug bites again as Marino clearly moving past the line of scrimmage. You'll see him from the end zone. He'll fight the middle right there. Steps up. He's okay there. But it's that last little slide forward that got him in trouble. What great anticipation by Albert Lewis, number 29. Brilliant, brilliant play by the corner.
And the second time in the ball game that the Dolphins have captured a fumble, or a turnover, and have turned it right back again. Back-to-back turnovers twice.
They've evened it out again. It's 3-3, Charlie. You can't do that. You get the opportunities, you got to cash them in.
Kansas City from their own 16. First down. Poirier. And he's hit by T.J. Turner. Still picks up 3. It'll be second down and 7. And Jarvis Williams is back in the ball game, number 26 for the Dolphins in their secondary.
Earlier in the year when we covered the Dolphins, Dave Aarons was starting inside along with Greg Clark. Of course, now it's Offerdahl and Krause, both doing a good job, and they have helped to shore up the middle of that defense. And that was Jarvis Williams you saw back in the game, so he is all right. That is good news.
Poirier. First down. Lippert Hobley with the tackle.
Running over behind a 300-pound John Alt and a 292-pound Brian Baldinger. Well, that's not a bad place to go when you weigh 254 pounds, especially when the passing game is worried. The passing game working, you can't load that front as you would against a run-only team.
First down for the 27. Kansas City leading 13-0. And Poirier leads to the 31-yard line. So he has 4. It'll be second down and 6. Jarvis Williams with the tackle.
I think Christian's starting to breathe a little heavier here. He has had a lot of work here in the early going. 17 rushes all the way with 83 yards and 1 touchdown. You multiply that out. Well, we still got 7 minutes to go in the first half. We're about halfway through the second half. It's going to be a busy day if they keep up this pace.
A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Robertson tight end in motion. Okoye hit at the line of scrimmage. Still picks up 2 or 3. T.J. Turner makes the stop.
The theory of running the big back, though, is to wear down the defense. And especially when you have a defense that's undersized, and this Miami front slightly undersized. You can see why they want to run Christian Okoye, and those numbers are coming into today's game. By himself, his numbers only 3 yards shy of what the whole Dolphin team had rushed for.
Kansas City has converted only 1 of 4 third down opportunities. They go with 4 wide, and it's 3rd and 4. DeBerg's pass a little behind the intended receiver, but still caught by Page.
T.J. Turner jumped in the line, Charlie, but I don't think his head was over. There was no flag on the play.
Rodney Thomas with the tackle at the 40. It's a first down.
You'll see it on the right-hand side of your screen. Turner, number 95, jumping early, but he was far enough behind the line that his head did not enter the neutral zone. Charlie, you talked about third down conversions. That's something that this Miami defense has improved on. Last in the league last year. They're now first in the AFC, second in the NFL.
The first back through is Saxon. Right at 10 yards. Let's see where they mark it.
Number 95, T.J. Turner, has his eyes on Christian Okoye. He goes inside right here, and look who comes by him. Saxon. It's Saxon with the football. That's what happens when you begin to concentrate on one back. And it's like a boxer, Charlie, working to the midsection. Bang, 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 and suddenly you drop your hands, and they go right for the jaw. There must have been a kink in that chain. Did you see that chain jump?
There was. Straighten out the chain. They juggled it a bit, about half an inch. Let's take a look around the league. Cincinnati in front, Pittsburgh in front of Houston struggling on the road. New England leading Indianapolis. Philadelphia in front of the Giants. Green Bay leading. New Orleans, Detroit now tied. Rams by 7. San Francisco only by 3 over Atlanta. And here it is Kansas City 13, Miami nothing. Time remaining first half, just over 5 minutes.
I'd like to send along our best wishes, Charlie, to Joe Robbie, who was not able to make the trip with the team. Had a chance to talk to Mrs. Robbie this morning and also last night, and she was a little worried today. She said, I checked the weather. There's no snow up there. I left my snow boots at home, but she said, it is cold up here. We hope she's keeping warm today, and our best to Joe Robbie.
Second and an inch. Saxon has the first down.
James Saxon on the carry, first down.
Just an add-on to that story, Mrs. Robbie said she spent a lot of time out in Minnesota. She said, I know how to handle the cold. But when she looked and there was no snow, she said, this is different.
The weather map threw her.
Yeah, the weather map got her down. It's getting a little warmer out there, Charlie. I know I can't convince you of that. But the temperature not really bothering these players on the field. I think it's heated up a little.
You made an earlier statement that the cold is relative. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's relative to... it's the chill factor, really. That's what I'm talking about. The 20 degrees can be all different kinds of things.
Particularly if you're inside by a fire. Come to think of it. Here's Herman Hurd. Crochet with the tackle at the 45. Gain of 4, second down and 6. Kansas City starting this drive back at the 16-yard line. 9th play of the drive. So they're chipping away at the clock in the first half.
You ask about relative temperature. The coldest I have ever been, and I played in a lot of games that were below 0, was on a rainy night when the wind was blowing and I was soaked to the skin, and I started to shake so bad I thought I was going to break my teeth.
That cold, really?
That cold.
Yard line. 12 yards.
Talking to Christian Okoye, he told us that his inspiration when he decided he wanted to play football was watching Marcus Allen in the Super Bowl against the Washington Redskins. He said he saw Marcus run all over the field. And he said, I thought that would be a good place to play. I went back and told the coach at Azusa Pacific, I want to play that position.
What he said, that looked easy.
It looked, yeah. Well, he also said, I found out differently. But he makes it look easy with that great strength and great power as he picks up another first down here.
And a total of 99 yards rushing in the first half.
Oh, look out.
It'll remain at 99, no gain. Barry Krause just met him in the hole.
If there is a good way to tackle Okoye, and there is, it's to get him turned sideways or twisted around, as Miami was able to do on that play. And you certainly don't want to hit him up high. You want to get on those legs with a bunch of friends.
Perhaps the best way is to say, you tackle him. I'll be there in a minute.
I like cruising down.
Back at Arrowhead Stadium, and Charlie, I was down in the locker room earlier, and I picked up this helmet. I was teasing Mike Webster. I said, Mike, this must have been your first helmet when you played with the Steelers because it's black. But this is the old-style leather football helmet, and it's the legitimate item. Imagine what it would be like to try and tackle Okoye with this. I mean, you didn't stick your head in there nearly as much then as you did now. Charlie, what did you start with when you started?
Exactly like this, and then they came out with the first face mask, the plastic face mask, and nobody wanted to wear them.
My first helmet, the same kind of helmet. My sophomore year in high school had the old leather helmet.
Yep, had stripes on it though. Ours had stripes on it.
Mine was just plain yellow.
Plain yellow?
And ugly.
Ugly? Oh, it's a grizzly, and it was red with great stripes. And here's James Saxon. Yards to the 20.
Hammering with Okoye in the running game. They come right back to the passing game. DeBerg finding the open receiver. No one downfield, but Saxon does a good job of picking up the first down. Joe Pendre, the offensive coordinator, doing a good job of mixing his plays today. And when you have things going, when the running game is working, when your quarterback is on, that's not a bad job to have, being an offensive coordinator.
Berg drops this one off, and it is dropped by Herman Hurd. If you were with us earlier, NFL Live, the headlines: Bill Walsh, strictly illegal block by 49ers on Lawrence Taylor. Eric Dickerson, totally serious about retiring after next year. And Kevin Mack may see action for the Browns today. Stay with us at halftime for NFL Live. OJ and Bob, the insiders, will be there. Also a special interview with Mike Shanahan, the Denver coach returning to the Los Angeles Coliseum. That'll be featured at halftime. Okoye to the 16. So now he goes over the 100-yard mark for the 7th time this year. And there's the halftime NFL Live at halftime. Bob and OJ, scores and highlights, the story behind all the numbers, and the interview with Mike Shanahan. An interesting afternoon for Mike.
Charlie, the matchup really favors this big line. Eatman at 298 against a 280-pound Turner. Lutz at 303. Baldinger 292. All at 300. And they're going against a much smaller defensive line for Miami.
14th play of the drive. 3rd and 7 in zone. Incomplete. Now Page is going to complain, but I think he stepped on somebody or somebody stepped on him and he went down, and you just don't call that. That's just the luck of the draw.
The official also indicating the ball was not catchable, that it was out of the end zone. And you'll see that at the end of the play. So there would be no call anyway. It must be a catchable pass before they're going to enforce interference down there.
And a 34-yard field goal attempt by Nick Lowery.
Lowery, you notice how he has that pull down. See him pull down on that little bar there?
Yes. It's loose, isn't it?
It's loose, boy. I'll tell you. I said, did you loosen that up? He said, I don't like it in front of my eyes.
And it is good. From 34 yards away. Kansas City 16, Miami nothing. 15 seconds, that is the time remaining in the first half, a first half that has been completely dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs.
I won't argue. It has.
Lowery kicking off to either Lorenzo Hampton or Andre Brown. And this is just a short kick to break up any kind of a return, and the clock immediately starts inside the last 2 minutes when the ball is touched in the field of play. Lewis Cooper was down for Kansas City. Miami 17 offensive plays in the first half. Kansas City 44.
Charlie, if there's one thing that might give Miami a little heart, it's the realization that last week they were up 14-0, and then the sky fell in.
Crash Jensen is the man who fell on the football, and he comes up hobbling. And Miami has the ball at their own 35-yard line. Clock is stopped with a change of possession, so it's now at 11 seconds.
Jensen is so important to this team because he plays so many key backup positions as well as third down situations for the offense.
Four-man rush, and Marino incomplete to Clayton, and the clock is stopped with 8 seconds.
Even though Dan Marino told us earlier today, as well as yesterday, that his arm was not bothering him,
those numbers tell a different story.
Those numbers would tell a different story. They certainly would, although they have been hampered all day long by the turnovers, Charlie.
Remember the game when we saw in Miami, into the first half, the successful Hail Mary, into the ball game, the unsuccessful Hail Mary. So no question that they have it in the playbook. Jensen is back into the lineup, but will we see it here?
I don't think Marino can throw it all the way into the end zone.
3 wide to the near side. He had to throw before the break of Duper, and Duper broke to the outside. Marino wanted to break to the inside. 4 seconds left. I think you're right. I don't think he can, with the injuries, I don't think he can go that deep.
Well, that's an awful long throw, even without the injuries. I asked Gary Stevens, I said, will you change the plays you called for Marino today because of those injuries? He said, we'll keep an eye on him, and if we find he's having trouble throwing certain patterns, we'll have to change. Well, they may have to adjust themselves at halftime. There's a man who's got to feel some growing concern, even though they've won 6 of their last 8 games.
3rd and 10. incomplete. Time is out. That is the end of the first half, and a standing ovation here in Arrowhead Stadium for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Miami's strength has not matched up with the defensive strength so far of the Chiefs. And on offense, the Chiefs' running game has hammered hard into the gut of this Miami defense.
Kansas City 16 and Miami nothing.
Now's the time.
And he'll return to about the 22-yard line. Stan Petrie makes the tackle. And maybe, Merlin, as you look at the halftime stats, maybe I'm not being fair to Dan Marino. Perhaps the injuries are bothering him more than we realize.
I don't know that we would know, Charlie. Look at the numbers, and Winston White will jump out at you. Chiefs rushing yardage, controlling the line of scrimmage, total yardage, and time of possession. Incredibly, 22-27 to just 7.5 minutes. When you control the line of scrimmage, you control the football game.
Clayton in motion. Sammy Smith has 3 to the 25 where Saliamua makes the tackle. Number 97, 2 fumble recovers. Saliamua came to us yesterday in the locker room. First he said, here's how I pronounce my name. Saliamua, run it all together. He said, Mother is going to be here. I want you to get it right. And then also in practice, he showed us a Samoan war dance.
He was leading a Samoan war dance for this team on the field yesterday in their practice, and it must have done some good, Charlie. A little stomping, had the whole team stomping and chanting.
He tried to show it to me. He said, I'm too uncoordinated. I couldn't pick it up.
He's cocked in there, that little Bud Carson Pittsburgh cock.
Renzo Hampton to the 29, maybe the 30-yard line.
When the Kansas City Chiefs lost Bill Moss earlier in the season, a starter in the at the nose tackle position in the Pro Bowl for the last 2 years, Saliamua came into the lineup. Charlie, right now, there are people in the NFL who think that Saliamua may be a better nose tackle than Moss. How very few times that will happen. Picked up Plan B from Detroit. Folks in Detroit saying, why didn't we play this guy, and how in the world could we let him go? He is the force.
A nose tackle that is so quick, at almost 300 pounds, he can drop back into coverage. In fact, he has an interception this year. Marino gingerly rolls out. Clayton slips the tackle, has the first down. He's to the 40. Brings the field, gets a block down the sideline. And he turns the first down into a big play.
Dan Marino to Mark Clayton. Knocked out of bounds by Derek Thomas.
When things get tough, you need to get a big play. You need to get things started. Here it is right here. Marino doing something he doesn't like to do, scrambling, and then Clayton, who is known more for his quickness than his blazing speed, showing great speed. Good block right there. 85, his buddy, the other Marks brother, there to pick him up. And we've got a Chief down on the field, Charlie.
58 yards. 58 yards.
Kevin Ross may be the injured player. He was blocked on the peel back by Duper. That may be Ross still on the ground. No, it's not Ross. It's 24, J.C. Pearson. J.C. Pearson on the ground.
We have an injury timeout. Kansas City has the lead, and Miami is on the move.
Tell you what I know about pickup.
Advantage.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Miami at the Kansas City 24-yard line. They trail 16-0. Clayton in motion. Here's the pitch to Sammy Smith. He has an opening up the middle, and he spins to the 15-yard line. He picks up 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Deron Cherry and Derek Thomas make the tackle. This is what we talked about at halftime. But they're under siege now, you might say.
They are, Charlie. I think this is the hottest defense in the NFL. I don't think any defensive team at this point in the season playing as well as these Chiefs right now.
2nd and 1. No game, 3rd and 1. Kevin Porter makes the tackle.
Leonard Griffin penetrated from the end position, did a great job of putting some heat on in there. Sammy Smith had to cut it back against the grain. Chiefs defense is not allowed a 100-yard rusher or a 300-yard passer. Charlie, in fact, in only one game this season have they allowed over 300 yards in total offense, and that was against Pittsburgh, and that was 312 yards. So they have been tough all year long. 3rd and long.
Flag is down. Smith loses 4 yards. But there's a marker on the play, and we've had very few penalties. In fact, Miami, until this point, penalized only 1 time for 5 yards, and Kansas City 4 for 20 yards.
Marty getting a little closer to his team. Marty, you get in trouble out there. Usually the officials will warn the coach, but he is supposed to stay off the field back in that white area.
It's the offense, number 62. No penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Harry Galbraith, the man is ticketed for the holding call. It will be declined and bring up a 4th down opportunity, and we'll see Stoyanovich, the kicker. His shoe, by the way, Charlie, was not ruined in the water last week, but he said it was so wet that he couldn't use it early in the week. Had to let it dry out, so...
He wears a 6, isn't it?
Well, it's a 6 on his kicking shoe, a 6.5 on his plant shoe. As you can see, that's still got some water stains on it from last week.
37-yard field goal attempt. Fake! To the 5, to the 3. Scott Seacools, the holder, with the fake.
A bad snap, and it was not a planned fake field goal. Seacools just makes a good reaction. Knew he couldn't get it down with the right timing. He didn't hesitate. He jumped up and spread it around. The fact that he was a quarterback and that the receivers on that side got out allowed him room. Now watch the reaction here. As he comes around, he gets away from this man.
I disagree.
No,
I think it was
Charlie,
a fake.
No, I don't think so. It's... Well, we'll talk to Shula later, but there are those who will say it's a planned play. I think it was just a good reaction. Whatever, it sure worked.
No. I don't. It was a great fake either way.
Well, if it was not a planned play, it worked well as a reaction. If it was a planned play, it worked well as a planned play. Either way, they got number 29, Albert Lewis, in there to penetrate. Deron Cherry on the field. Free safety. Leader back there, an emotional leader of this team.
And he made an interesting statement when we talked about to him yesterday. And we said, do you read the eyes of Marino? And he said, no. He said, I read the feet of the quarterback. He said, because until they get around the veteran quarterbacks, until they plant their feet, they're just playing games with me. When they plant their feet, I know what they're going to do. Let's go back.
Let's watch Seacools in the close-up here. Well, looking at Stoyanovich, Stoyanovich is not looking at the ball. I think you're right, Charlie. You got me.
What about it?
Stoyanovich is looking at the rush. He's not looking at the ball. If he thought it was going to be a kick, his eyes would have been on the ground. So, I think you're right.
1st down and goal to go just outside the 2-yard line. Marino now has turned and talked to Red Cashion. Do they want an equipment change, or they want a change?
I don't know what's going on.
Foster's coming out.
But a note of congratulations to Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach of this Miami Dolphins team. Special teams coaches so often spend hundreds and hundreds of hours looking for one opportunity to run a fake. This one worked for the Miami Dolphins. Now they need to convert on it.
Tom Toth came into that offensive line. Play action fake. Touchdown. Flag down. Beryl Edmonds caught it. Let's see what the flag is. It'll be against Miami.
Is it a pick? Offensive interference. It may be a pick on that play. They sent the tree down and out to the corner.
Pass interference on the offense. Number 11, still first down.
That's on Crash Jensen.
Perhaps we can see it. There's Edmonds breaking. There's the bump right there. Let's run that back one time. Maybe we can get a chance to see it. Whoa, stop it right there. Here's the bump. Going to take place right here. Number 11 coming inside. Bang! Knocks the man right off his feet. Number 58, and that's Derek Thomas, the linebacker that was knocked down.
First down at the 12. Here's Sammy Smith. Good effort. He's going to go to the 6 or the 7-yard line.
Excellent second effort by Sammy Smith. Don Shula, who still calls those offensive plays, sending his substitutes onto the field. He's second and about, what, 8 yards, Charlie?
I thought his penetration was further. He's to the 8-yard line. Second down, goal to go. Jensen in motion. Marino gingerly rolling. Throws incomplete. It was low, but Jim Jensen got his hands on it. Chris Martin was there, and he just couldn't hang on. That's a couple he dropped in this ball game to go with a couple last week.
2 last week, his second this week. As I said earlier, this is not the way to get out of the doghouse. That's not an easy ball to catch. But Jim Jensen has made his living in these tough situations, third down and down near the goal line. He converts on those plays. That's why he's a part of this team. If he's going to drop him very much longer, he may be looking for a new job.
Third and goal. 10th play of the drive. And Marino wants a timeout. That stops the clock. 9:43. No, the clock is moving. They're going to have to reset the clock. We'll be back in a moment.
Raiders. Next.
The game clock has been reset at 9:39, time remaining third quarter. It'll be third down and goal to go at the 8-yard line. In the offensive line, number 61, Roy Foster for Miami. Played his high school ball here at Shawnee Mission West High School. Look at that. Interceptions more than touchdowns this year.
Yes, and in a career that has seen an almost 2-to-1 TD to interception ratio, most unusual for Dan Marino.
Fires it. It is complete. Jensen redeems himself with the touchdown. And did you notice with the crowd noise that Marino with that right knee, and that's the signal for the snap from the center.
Excellent play, and everything had to work perfectly on that play. Jim Jensen gets this crowd quiet, and you're right, Charlie. He needed that one, as did this Miami team. Getting those breaks, not coming away with a touchdown here, may have put some more holes in their ship here in this ball game.
Stoyanovich with the extra point. And show Miami on the scoreboard.
Tremendous job by Jeff Dellenbach to keep Derek Thomas away from Marino. Allow the little extra time, and then it's just determination that puts Jim Jensen in the end zone.
NBC Sports serves your need to know all week long. Dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
Stoyanovich will be kicking off.
Stoyanovich, not a powerful leg, and his kickoffs during this season have been relatively short. It's been one of the weaknesses of special teams for this Miami organization.
Danny Copeland and Naz Worthen are the deep backs. And here's the kick.
So he kicks it to the 1-yard line.
And here's Worthen on the return. To the 20. Breaks it to the 30. Flags are down. A return of about 37 yards. And the markers usually nullify it. Brian Kitchen with the tackle. It'll be against Kansas City. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown. It's man-on-man. Lloyd Burris right here. Jim Jensen's going to come in and bump Burris and then break to the outside. But Burris will fall down as he tries to cover. And that's what allows this play to be successful. There's the bump. Watch Burris stumble right there. He can't get his footing back and allows Jim Jensen free just long enough to break into the end zone.
The top touchdown passers targeted Unitas, Jurgensen, Fouts. Hey, notice that the years 18, 18, 15, 16. Dawson, it took him 19 years. Blanda. Marino now breaks the tie with Brody. Dan is 8. He has look at 7 years in the league, and everybody else are in double digits.
Big double digits.
Ooh, yeah. First down, Kansas City at their own 17. Okoye to the 22. 8 of 5. Second down and 5. Let's check the other scores. Cincinnati in front. Houston now by 1 over Pittsburgh. They've come from behind. New England leading Indianapolis by 3. Philadelphia by 7. Green Bay by 1. New Orleans and Detroit tied at 14. Rams still lead Dallas. San Francisco only 3 over Atlanta. And here Miami on the board with 7, and Kansas City leads with 16. Time remaining 8:45. Third quarter. Okoye should have the first down. Picks up another 5 yards on the play. 111 yards rushing in the ball game for this man. Watch how he takes the ball. He makes sure he has it. Both hands.
Two-handed carry. You see the power of Okoye. Not a bursting runner, and I mentioned earlier, not a quick starter. Needs an alley to run. But when he gets that big body moving, he has incredible power. Much like that tank that we saw early in the ball game.
Here he is again. The other thing that he does, 5 yards to the 33. Jeff Cross with the tackle. He just picked up 5 yards at a clip. And as he continues to do this, and as you watch the fake, it sets up the play action fake so beautifully because everybody starts to take that half a step in, and then they'll come back and burn you.
They'll come back and go over the top. Charlie, it's taken him. He just started to learn his football back in 1984. They feel that they're going to get to his talent one of these days. Another run. You'd think that someone that big and strong would have come in instantly and been a success on the football field. They didn't even let him play in his first 3 games at Azusa Pacific, Charlie. And in his first start, he got 19 yards. The first time he carried the ball, he only got 2 carries for 1 yard. Well, look at him. That's before today. He was only 2 yards behind Thomas and leading rushing in the NFL. With this day today, unless somebody has a brilliant day elsewhere, and there it is. He's over 124 as we just get started in this half. He's going to be in the lead.
And now to Berg to throw, and is incomplete. Alfredo Roberts, the intended receiver. DeBerg really fired that from close range.
DeBerg, I'm sure, saying that was my mistake. No one even near Alfredo Roberts. You just can launch that ball and just loft it in there. And you're right. He overthrew this football. Alfredo Roberts all alone. Well, you got to catch that kind, though, Charlie.
That's true.
Alfredo, more of a blocking tight end than a catching tight end, but needs to catch that one.
2nd and 10. After featuring Okoye at the opening of the drive, now they feature the pass. Dropped it off to Saxon. And Saxon just turns to the 46. Has 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. E.J. Jr. with the tackle.
Offerdahl also there, number 56. Good reactions by this Miami defense as they expected a deep pass, shut us off, shut it off. They don't want to give up the big play. They want to force this Kansas City offense to move the ball down the field. That's one thing they have done more effectively during this season, although they're still giving up more big plays than they would like to give up.
4 wide receivers, 3rd down and 4 at the 46. DeBerg caught. Page, 1st down.
Great receivers have the ability to change direction. Watch Page reverse all the way around and still catch that football. Nice play.
When we asked DeBerg yesterday, who is the best receiver, he said there's no question. It is Stephon Page. He said we've got to get him involved in the entire offense.
Well, Page was a holdout, Charlie. He had contract problems late coming in, and he is just now really getting his opportunities to be featured in this offense.
Good play action fake. All alone, deep, 19-yard line is Page. And that's what Okoye does for you. He sets this type of play up.
The other thing that helps here, the great faking by DeBerg. Watch this. DeBerg just fakes inside. Believe me, he's faking well out there. Also, an excellent move by Stephon Page. Let's go back and watch the fake, Charlie. Watch this. Hands the ball in, ball on the hip, and there's no question. That's going to be very difficult to read downfield.
23 yards to the 18. And here's Okoye. He's got 5 more. And the Chiefs just come pounding back after Miami scored their first touchdown. Kansas City started this drive at their own 17-yard line. The flag on the return of the kickoff.
Man, standing just behind Marty Schottenheimer, the two talking there. Joe Pendray, the offensive coordinator. Ron Jaworski, backup quarterback on the other side.
Okoye to the 10.
Christian Okoye on the carry.
So it'll be 3rd down and a couple.
E.J. Jr.
And now are we going to have only the tight end, Alfredo Roberts, is going to come in, so they're not bringing in their wide receivers in that 3rd down situation.
Charlie, that signal was for ace, which means 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 1 linebacker. You saw the hands up over the head. They signal a formation, so it's easier to get people off the field as well as on the field. Audible call.
Timing pattern incomplete. Page could not pull it down.
And you heard someone I think on the Kansas City bench say, what's he doing? Because obviously the play was changed to the timing call here, and Stephon Page had one hand on the ball but simply couldn't control it. I think a safe play had been called, Charlie. I think they had the run call.
They may have felt they're in 4 down and just stay with Okoye for a couple of pops.
Well, when Okoye has been running as effectively as he has all day, I would question throwing the ball there myself.
Nick Lowry with a 28-yard field goal attempt. He's hit from 34 and now 28. And Kansas City now leads 19-7. Yeah.
Season premiere of college basketball next Saturday on NBC.
High above Arrowhead Stadium. That's not our broadcast booth. We're back down here.
Cool.
Cool.
Yes, I bet it is cool.
Oh, I bet it is up there. You want to turn that burner on or
you
put
want
your
to
hands
leave the burner on.
That's right. Toasted marshmallows. Lowry to kick off. Hampton and Andre Brown are deep.
Deep kick.
Andre Brown, and he'll down it in the end zone. Miami will start at their own 20-yard line.
Little action going on down below us.
Arch enemies. The Joker said, don't rub another man's rhubarb. John Elway and Bo Jackson are the arch enemies in the second half of today's football doubleheader. The Raiders hosting the Western Division champion Denver Broncos right after our ball game here on NBC. I still don't know what the Joker meant by that.
I don't either.
But I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't mess with it. Unless I was Batman.
Play action fake. Reno throws, and it's overthrown. Flag is down. Good for the intended receiver. Kevin Ross had the coverage, and Deron Cherry is pleading the case.
I think they're questioning whether that was even a catchable pass. Very upset Kevin Ross over there. Support of Albert Lewis. And they're going to call it against the defense. They're going to call interference here, Charlie.
Interference, number 20 on the defense, touchdown.
Number 20.
It's on Cherry. They called it on Deron Cherry.
They call it on Deron Cherry. I don't even see Deron Cherry in the picture. There's Kevin Ross.
Yeah. So it wasn't there.
Well, if the flag goes right at his feet. I don't understand that one, Charlie.
There was the bumping, but I'm like you. I don't think it was catchable.
I don't understand that one.
Miami now at their own 35, first down. And Sammy Smith has a couple, maybe three. Dino Hackett with the tackle.
Chiefs have done a great job of rebuilding that front seven. In fact, if you look across that front seven, the only starter from late last year would be Neil Smith and Dino Hackett. All the rest are relatively new faces. Martin and Walker Lee Ashley were Minnesota Vikings. And of course, Derek Thomas, the great rookie, came in here this year and set his mind.
And here's Smith to the 41. It'll be third down and 4.
Charlie, just to finish that thought, we've seen Sully Amua, the nose tackle who came in Plan B acquisition. Leonard Griffin has moved into that starting lineup. And of course, he is doing a great job. And the front seven of this defense is what has improved most dramatically.
Third down and 4. One of the things we've noticed, when Marino is healthy, when he throws the ball, he really snaps his hip. With the injuries to the ribs and the shoulders, he's not snapping the hip like he did in the past. Not when he's well.
10 men up.
And it is incomplete. Fred Banks, the intended receiver. Stan Petrie had the coverage. It'll be fourth down.
Bill Cowher's defense, and I think Shula saying there was a bump on that play. He wanted to call against Stan Petrie for interference. Did not get it from the officials. Bill Cowher's defense has been able to get good pressure up the gut on Marino, and that's the way to bother him. You force him to throw that ball away ahead of the time he wants to throw.
And Reggie Roby will be kicking to Naz Worthen. Has pressure, but gets it off. Good catch. Naz fair catch. And he takes it at the 14-yard line. 45 yards on the kick, J.B. Brown. Down very quickly. This telecast presented by Authority, the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast that the express written consent of the Kansas City Chiefs and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is a property of the National Football League, Miami Dolphins, and Kansas City Chiefs, all rights reserved.
Charlie, that's the second Miami punt today that looked to me to be blockable. Albert Lewis, who blocked the punt last week, was in very deep and almost had his hands on that football. I think if he'd come across, he could have blocked it.
I think did he feel he was maybe in too close?
I think he thought he would rough it.
Yeah. Didn't want to take a chance. Kansas City from their own 15. 1:24. Time remaining. Third quarter. Here comes Okoye again. And again. And again.
Marty Schottenheimer knows a good thing when he sees it. He's going to give Okoye a chance to wear this defense down even further. And, of course, a defensive team that was on the field more than 17 minutes in the first half, they may be beginning to fatigue a little bit.
Okoye, 28 carries, 133 yards rushing, 54 seconds and counting, time remaining in the third. Here's Okoye to the outside. And he has a yard to the 20. Not near as effective going to the outside as he is just straight ahead.
Much better when he's square to the line of scrimmage. You get him turned sideways, he can't use that bulk. And that's what you want to do to any big back. Turn him toward the sideline, toward the edge of the field, and then they can't use that bulk on you. There are the numbers you talked about, Charlie, just moments ago.
And the players have decided they'll go ahead and take the countdown. They're changing the ends of the field. We still have 10 seconds left, so we've got to make it official. But after 3, Kansas City 19, Miami 7. The Chiefs are sailing away with it. We'll be back with the fourth in a moment.
It's a Radio Shack.
In the AFC West, Denver, they are already the champions. The Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs battling for possible playoff spots. The second half of the doubleheader today. Well, Denver's on the road with a 10-2 record. They're in the Coliseum against the Raiders. The record is 6-6. And the Raiders, like Kansas City and like Miami, they need to win. They've got to win the last 4 to make the playoffs.
Out in Denver, we had the chance to see Denver explode in the first half of that game.
Unbelievable.
They were awesome.
38-0, and Elway was unstoppable last week.
Tremendous play offensively and defensively. That's going to be a great game in L.A.
Second half of the doubleheader here on NBC. Third down and 5. Kansas City from the shotgun at their 20. Incomplete. Emil Harry, the intended receiver. Rodney Thomas had the coverage, and the kicking team will come in on 4th and 5. Steve DeBerg. Well, he said, I'm Marty. That's Marty Schottenheimer's Freddy Krueger. I just keep coming back to life.
Yeah, he certainly is not dead. He's been very lively here today.
Schwades at the 38. And he returns for about 10, maybe 11 yards on the play. A 43-yard kick. Kansas City leads at 19-7. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Based on true cops and their true stories, these.
All right, we'll update the correction on the score. It is Kansas City 19, Miami 7, and officially 14:46. That is the time remaining in the ballgame. Dolphins have possession. First down at their own 49-yard line.
Points are too hard to get, Charlie. You can't steal them that way. Gotta let them have what they've earned.
Reno has time, drops back underneath the covers to Sammy Smith at the Kansas City 46. It'll be second down and 5.
Even though Marino said he is fine, his shoulder is not bothering him, it's obvious that from his numbers and from his comfort level on the field that he is not in sync with his receivers. The timing has been hurt most, I think. And I think that he looks like he can still throw the ball, but the timing is not there, Charlie.
Clayton in motion. And he reverses. And here is Smith. Running to the right, but still carrying the ball in the left hand. Dino Hackett with the tackle. That can be dangerous. You can fumble it there. Only a yard. Third down and 4, and Smith is hurt.
I think Dino Hackett hurt himself, too. That was a brutal collision between those two. You see Dino, he really stacked in there. Hackett, who's been freed up, right-hand side of your screen, 56. Watch this collision. That's a real shot. The helmet right to the shoulder and perhaps the chin, and then a second shot. That's Jeff Dellenbach. I think that's the one that may have hurt him. Dellenbach being pushed down, his shoulder hit right on the head of Sammy Smith. And we've got another player down over there. That's Sally Mua. Bill Moss, of course, not in the lineup. Sally Mua has been such an effective replacement for him. He is on the ground as well. So 2 critical players on the turf at this moment. There's Bill Moss. I saw him down in the locker room just before the game. He was working on a Stairmaster, and he was just pounding away. No cast on that left arm. A brutal scar, about 8 inches long. Smith up off the ground. That's good. And I asked Bill Moss, I said, what did they do to that arm? He said they put about a 4-inch plate, 6 screws. He said, he showed me the flex in that hand. He said, I feel like I could come back and play right now. I said, no. I said, no, give it a chance here.
Let it heal.
He says, I'm going to be back if we get to the playoffs. There's Sally Mua. He is up. So both injured players up off the ground and moving, and that is good news.
13:51 is the time remaining in the 4th.
That Stairmaster will work you out. Every time I went through the locker room for about an hour, look, there was Moss getting his workout. He wants to stay in shape.
Greg Meisner, now the nose tackle for Kansas City. Third and 3.
Big down for Miami's offense.
First down. Duper to the 26-yard line, converting on 3rd and 3. Stan Petrie with the tackle. 18 yards on the play.
I asked Marino about Duper, whose touchdown numbers are down this year. I said, why? He said, we just haven't called his number as many times. He still makes lots of big plays for us. That was a very big play. And Duper goes to the sideline limping. Be replaced by Banks.
The report on Sammy Smith, he got his bell rung, little ding-ling-ling.
I believe it.
And he'll be back. First down. Marino underneath the coverage. Pass is complete. Fred Banks thrown down by Kevin Ross. One of the things that seems to be missing from the defense of Kansas City, and that is Derek Thomas, because he's always been so active, but we haven't seen that much of it. Are they putting 2 or 3 men on him?
No, they've done a good job. Jeff Dellenbach has been out there. They help him occasionally, but Derek Thomas, and I'll tell you one thing that might be bothering him today. He is from Alabama, and that loss by Alabama to Auburn yesterday may have taken him down a little bit emotionally today.
2nd and 5. Sally Mua is back in the lineup. Renzo Hansen, nothing is there. When we talked to Derek Thomas yesterday, he reminded us that he played his high school ball, South Miami High School, where he went to Alabama. He also said that he had recruited Kevin Ross.
Yes.
To go with him from Alabama. He says he went to Temple, would love to have gone to Alabama, but he didn't make it there. But he also wanted to tell his mom, Edith Morgan, and his grandmother, Annie Adams, a big hello.
And, of course, I think most everyone would have him at the top of the list as a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. There are the other names. Louis Oliver from Miami, Grossman, Lake, Massey, and McDowell, all making a big impact here in their rookie year.
And again, Oliver out of the ballgame with an injury.
Interference. But
no, he caught it. He caught it.
It looked like an interference call on Clayton, and they're going to give Clayton a spot that is just nosed up on the marker. Well, they're going to have to measure this one, Charlie.
The chains are on this side of the field, the marker on the other side.
Watch the bump on Clayton. Maybe there it is. A bump in the back. 29, is that Lewis? Albert Lewis bumping Clayton just before the snap.
May have been
before the catch.
May have been Deron Cherry. I'm not sure which. It was Lewis. It was interesting. If we go back and look at that again, as the bump is made, look at the official and see if he wants to go to the flag, and then does not go to the flag because the ball is caught. Now watch the official to see if he wants to go to the flag. He reaches for it.
He certainly did.
And now he sees he's got it. It was Deron Cherry. Now he has the catch, and it comes up short.
And Deron Cherry pointing to Mark. Cherry knowing instantly that it was very close. Miami will go for it on 4th and short. But do they have Sammy Smith back in the game? I don't see Sammy Smith back in there. Lorenzo Hampton in there. Tom Brown is in there. Sammy Smith would be the man to go to here. Let's see if they throw the football on this 4th and inches.
Marino stumbles. It is Lorenzo Hampton going over the top, and Marino stumbled as he pulled away from center, still made the exchange, and they got the first down.
You've got to be a great athlete to survive that one. And Don Shula's heartbeat, his pulse just shot up about 20 beats there, as Marino looked like he was going to fall down before he could get that ball handed off. Here's the play. It looked like he may have been caught by his guard, who stepped on his toe, still makes the turn, bad ribs and all, and that's where it hurts when you twist, and gets that ball handed off. Hampton over the top. Good play. First down.
Those are not Marino-type numbers. Those injuries, the shoulder, the ribs, the wrists are all bothering him.
Yeah, but they haven't had opportunity either, Charlie. They haven't had the ball that often.
Timing pattern to Clayton, comes back, leaps, has a touchdown.
Great catch. So very often, if you can underthrow the football in a critical situation in man-to-man coverage, and you have a receiver that can adjust to that ball, you've got a touchdown. That's exactly what Marino did. That's exactly what Mark Clayton did.
15 yards on the touchdown. Kevin Ross was the man with the coverage. And now the extra point. Stoyanovich. It's good.
There's been no better cornerback in the league over the last 5 years than Kevin Ross. But when the great ones match up, even Kevin Ross can be beaten.
51 yards on the drive.
They predicted a gloomy year for everyone. But they didn't count on Mazda, with cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record, with record-setting deals that can save you up to $1,000 now. So come get a record-setting deal at the Mazda Race to the Record. At your local Mazda dealer now.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun today.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
10 minutes and 37 seconds. That is the time remaining in this ball game, and there's the scoring drive. 51 yards, 8 plays. Took just over 4 minutes. Marino's second touchdown pass of the ball game. Stoyanovich will be kicking off for Miami. Naz Worthen and Danny Copeland are the two return men. And the margin 5 points, 19-14. Copeland at the 9 to the 20. Dances to the 25.
Charlie, if we go back to that last play, Kevin Ross right here looking through the receiver, but watch what happens. Mark Clayton gives him no warning that the ball is there, and he has to read that receiver to know when the ball was there. Clayton, a great jumper, just went up and pulled that ball down. That's Clayton's experience earning him a touchdown as well as his athletic ability.
First down at the 25. Bird and Saxon are the running backs. DeBerg deep over the middle. Pass is complete to Manley. First down at the 45. 20 yards. Offerdahl with the tackle. So DeBerg comes out winging tonight on NBC, a fact-based drama about the life of NBA star Isaiah Thomas. Alfre Woodard stars in A Mother's Courage, the Mary Thomas story. Then it's a brand new comedy, Ann Jillian, followed by Sister Kate, and a special preview of a new series coming to NBC, True Blue, tonight only on NBC.
Miami better hurry. 2 defenders, yep, they're off the field.
Saxon, the remaining back, 3 wide receivers in the set. First down at the 45. On target. Page, the receiver. DeBerg with a hot hand. Let's check around the league.
Charlie, one bad sign as we do that. This Miami defense is getting tired, I think, and they're not getting pressure on the passer. That's what happens when the legs begin to get weary.
Dallas now leading the Rams 31-21. Aikman 4 touchdown passes.
Catching the Rams between an emotional game and looking ahead to San Francisco, perhaps.
DeBerg has completed 14 of 24, 232 yards. Okoye back in there now. And they'll mark it at the 44. It'll be a first down.
One of the nice stories for this Miami defense this year, the return to former Hugh Green does not have the blinding speed that he had as a linebacker early at Tampa Bay, but certainly has been much more effective, and they're giving him more push responsibilities in this defense.
Okoye, 37-yard line. Has 7, second and 3. Soche with a tackle. Injury report on Mark Duper as an injured left calf should return. And the report on Sammy Smith, he's still shaken up. He should return. The report on Christian Okoye, he's rolling like a tank. 147 yards rushing, 31 carries.
He's getting a lot of help up front from Eatman, whose return to this lineup was very important to that offensive line, as well as the rest of those big horses.
That is the time remaining in the game. 7.5 minutes. Roberts in motion. Okoye. No. Okoye was the fake. Saxon had the ball. And Okoye, DeBerg shaking hands with Okoye on the fake that set up the first down. 28-yard line.
A chance to watch the fake here to Okoye. Here's the man that's going to plunge in here, and everyone is watching Okoye. Watch this. He doesn't have the ball, folks. It's at number 21 that has it going the other direction. That's several times today that little counter play has worked as they focus on the big man in the backfield, and the little man does the damage.
Jackson again, the first man through to the 20, breaks at 15. He's caught from behind. 9-yard line. James Jackson, 19. Krause caught him.
James Saxon does not have that blazing breakaway speed, but he is a slashing runner with great change of direction. You saw him jump to the outside there to find an opening and then take advantage of it. Barry Krause, number 58, finally ran him down from behind.
Gene Chilton is now the offensive center for Kansas City. First down goal to go at the 9.
Ball control, 24 first downs to 9.
Okoye, no gain, second and goal.
That's an indication. I mentioned opportunity. For years, people have said the way to defense Dan Marino is to keep him on the bench. By ball controlling the way this offense has, that's effectively what they have done today here in Kansas City. Webster on the sideline as Gene Chilton has taken his place on the field. Has a bad thigh, and he is an Iron Man. You've almost got to shoot him to get him off the field. There's Chilton. But with Chilton in that lineup, they get even bigger. Webby is 260. Chilton is 286. He's bumping up on 290.
Play action fake. It's the third touchdown, Kansas City.
The enthusiasm and the emotion that was so dominant here in that 34-0 shutout last week continues in this emotional game today.
The extra point is good, and DeBerg was lowered by Hugh Green right after he made the throw.
DeBerg wants to go downfield. Nobody open, but he has the perfect choice here as Hurd has found enough turf on the outside to get into the end zone.
And Kansas City leads it 26-14.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat... Next.
Five minutes to go in the ball game, 26-14. Herman Hurd scoring his first touchdown of the season. Lowry to kick off to either Andre Brown or Lorenzo Hampton. And Brown will down it in the end zone. Will bring it out to the 20. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Charlie, a play very similar to the one Jim Jensen scored on. Play action, and you watch Hurd go in here and get a bump on Hugh Green right here and then break to the outside. Green reads this as a run play right here. And at this moment, that pass, as long as it's caught, will be a touchdown. And you can see the disgust in Green's eyes as he looks back at his man going into the end zone.
And it was number 54 who leveled DeBerg. That's E.J. Jr., not 55, Hugh Green. It's a fair, clean shot. DeBerg, 15 of 25, 240 yards, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns.
He'll trade a hit for a touchdown any day.
Miami from their own 20. Reno's pass is to Fred Banks. Kevin Ross with the stop. The standings in the West, Denver, of course, already the champions. They're 10-2. The Raiders are 6-6. Kansas City right behind them, and San Diego and Seattle. Second half of the doubleheader, Denver at the Coliseum against the Raiders. Second half of the doubleheader, and that'll be the matchup. John Elway and the man Bo Jackson. Second down and 1. Jensen and Hampton are in that offensive set.
Second and short. They're still in the shotgun. Interesting choice, Miami.
Knocked down.
Great play, Albert Lewis, number 29. You cannot play that position any better than he did on that down.
I'll tell you something, you cannot have more sneakers than that man has in his locker either.
You counted them, didn't you?
30 pairs. And Deron Cherry said, well, they're like gloves. He'll put a pair on. Well, that doesn't quite it. He'll go out and he'll run another. That doesn't have right fit. And he'll change 3 or 4 times before practice, much less on a ball game day.
Well, maybe a little superstitious about that, but he knows his stuff as a cornerback. Smart, smooth. He's having the best year he's had since '86. Well, unusual.
Yes.
A Marino quarterback keep for the first down.
I would imagine as you watch Marino come out, that this late in the game, you're not going to hurt any more than you already hurt, so you just keep going. Hurry up offense.
They're going into it early here. 3:45. Well, it's not that early. They need 2 touchdowns.
It's high, but pulled down by Clayton, and he's got the first down.
They'll come right back. Clayton working on J.C. Pearson, number 24, went down with an injury earlier, but is back in the ball game.
11 yards to the 43, first down.
Ooh. Little mix-up there. Banks coming across, Clayton coming across, and Clayton yelling downfield at one of the, is that Schwades, number 81, one of the other receivers? Yes, I believe it is. Somebody ran the wrong pattern here. And that's, no, it's 83, Andre Brown. And not 83. Who was it? 82. Well, perhaps Brown coming downfield. Someone ran the wrong pattern. Clayton pointing downfield was very upset.
Second down. Going deep, and it is incomplete. That was a sideline timing pattern, trying to release it before the cornerback knew the ball was even airborne, and the intended receiver, Fred Banks, could run under it.
I think Marino knew early that this pass could not be completed. And of course, with a ball as uncatchable as that, you're not going to get an interference call, even though there was a bump on that play.
Marino 13 of 27, 166 yards. He's thrown touchdown passes to Jensen and to Clayton. 3rd and 10. Intercepted at the 33. Flag is down. Deron Cherry was wide open, and Marino threw it right in his stomach. But again, there was a marker at the 41.
Someone must have been knocked down, as Marino obviously thought he had a man open down there.
Now Clayton in a shoving contest right now.
Mark Clayton extremely
upset.
upset.
Birds, I believe.
He's saying that's 3 times you've done that to me today, I think. Trying to read his lips down there.
Holding before the pass was thrown on the defense. 5 yards and first down.
Miami retains possession of the ball.
The slot receiver on the near side, the inside receiver on the near side, apparently the man who was held on that play. Watching the second receiver in from the bottom of your screen. Let's see if we can get the holding. There's Burris, and he just grabbed him. There it is. He hooked him right there. And that's why Clayton was angry. That was Clayton in the slot working man-to-man on Lloyd Burris.
.302 time remaining. Marino throws back at his call at the 41-yard line by Clayton.
Marino saying, get back to the line. We'll run it on the line. And Charlie, we're talking to Deron Cherry. He said, we've been playing against Marino only occasionally, but we've seen enough films. We know some of his signals. If he doesn't change them, hopefully we'll be able to eat them up here today.
Deep to Banks, incomplete at the 10.
Talking about signals now, we're talking hand signals that would be used in a hurry-up offense situation. And, of course, with Ron Jaworski here, who played backup to Marino last year, they have been able to pick up those signals. We'll watch Marino to see if he's using some of those signals.
Quarterback comparison. Miami's ball, 2nd and 10 at the 41.
Charlie, the difference not in the passing game, in the running game. And, of course, it's a Kansas City running game that has dominated here today and has given them the opportunity to control the football and to put those big numbers on the board. Miami needs to score quickly and to get their hands back on the football. Here's the noise now that Marino worried about.
Or are they going to rule delay?
Delay by the offense. Just second down.
Marino saying he could not hear, but the official saying no. You just ran out of time, Dan.
Second and 15 at the 46. Kansas City leads it 26-14. 2:33 time remaining. Showing blitz and dropping out of it. Clayton to the 30-yard line. He could pick up the first down.
If he doesn't have it, he's inches shy. Again, showing you great running skills with that football after he caught the ball. He could be a great running back. Could have been a great running back with that kind of moves.
And he's hobbling just a bit. Reno's going to have to get going or we'll end up at the 2-minute warning. He's taking too much time. 2-minute warning will be given to both benches. 26-14. And Miami is driving. We'll be back in a moment.
They predicted a gloomy year for everyone. But they didn't count on Mazda, with cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record, with record-setting deals that can save you up to $1,000 now. So come get a record-setting deal at the Mazda Race to the Record. At your local Mazda dealer now.
Let's get that nose. It's Dad. How do you shave under that thing?
Introducing the Slim Twin Razor System, with the slimmest cartridge to reach every place on every face.
Dave, I'd give Dad back his nose.
New Slim Twin from Schick.
Maybe you can't avoid winter, but you can sail right through it in the Caribbean, Florida, or Hawaii. Let American Airlines take you where?
There's something special in the air.
Welcome back to Arrowhead Stadium with 2 minutes to go in the ballgame, Merlin, and the problems that Marino faces in a 2-minute offense, hurry-up offense, on the road in a stadium you've never played in.
Tough to be heard, tough to call your audibles. You have to do a lot of things you don't like. That's why they call it home field advantage. Kansas City comfortable. It'll be quiet when it should be quiet for them. They'll make it as tough, this crowd will, as tough on Marino as they can. But, Charlie, when you rely on the air game and the pilot is not feeling well, you got a little problem. And that's what's happened to Miami here today, as well as their inability to stop the great running game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there's the pilot man, the trigger. And there's no question that he has done it as well as anyone in football, a record setter, and you saw one of the records that he has set here today.
Could we say the pilot light is still flickering, though?
Well, it's flickering. There are 2 minutes. We've seen this Miami offense light up that scoreboard very, very quickly. Let's see if they can do it here.
First down at the 30. Incomplete.
And Andre Brown looking down and saying, was that for me?
Well, Marino, that's the second. Marino is throwing like to an area and throwing immediately as if somebody is going to have to get there. Perhaps trying to catch the secondary, you know, with their backs to him. They don't know the ball's in the air.
Marino under pressure, Charlie. Running out of time. Had to get that ball off in the air.
But that can be dangerous.
Yes, it can.
Just floating it out there. Second and 10.
Out of in the shotgun. Jim Jensen, the lone back in there.
Incomplete. Clayton, the intended receiver.
Covered very tightly by J.C. Pearson, and they were blitzing up the middle, trying to get some extra heat in there on Marino. Jensen doing a job of taking down one of those blitzers, but they got enough heat on Marino that he had to get it out of there, and Mark Clayton unable to handle the football.
.154 time remaining. Complete. 15-yard line, Andre Brown.
First down. They'll run up quickly. Clock ticking down, 1:43. First things first, you get the touchdown, and then you go to work on the onside kick if you're Miami.
Clayton can't get to it.
Derek Thomas putting heat on both of those last two plays. Able to stretch around Dellenbach and get some heat on Marino.
And a time to check around the NFL today. These, of course, the early ball games. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader here on NBC, Denver against the Raiders, that will be seen in most of the country. And we now have one final in. San Francisco defeats Atlanta by a score of 23-10.
Defensively, they've moved Neil Smith in on the nose here. Trying to get a little extra pressure up the gut on Dellenbach, trying to isolate Neil. Offsides.
Juggle, intercepted. The flag is down. Neil Smith pointing the way. He needs to get past Jensen. Makes an inside move. It is down at the 23.
Charlie, I think we got a Kansas City offsides penalty. It'll bring it all the way back. Someone on the left-hand side of that offense, and I think it was Saliamua that had stepped off sides, and Neil Smith, who had dropped out from that nose tackle position, bounced that football around, caught it, went all the way to the other end of the field. He needed a gas station on the way down there.
Oh, he said, oh, no. Come on.
That's a lineman's dream.
Yeah.
That's a lineman's dream.
Number 58 on the defense. Still second down.
Called it on Derek Thomas.
It's on Thomas, yes. Thomas must have been lined up at the left end position. Derek Thomas at the left end, and you see him stepping over the line. And there's Smith dropping out from that nose tackle position. I think what happened, Marino read the blitz, realized there was nobody there. He didn't see the big lineman bailing out. Number 86, Banks, just jumped on Neil Smith's back.
Oh, got it right there.
Well, you better get a little suck of that.
I'm trying to help him. I'm going, oh.
That's the gas station right there. Well, back to Miami's end now.
10-yard line, 2nd and 5. Clayton at the 10, and he is down. Clock is moving.
He didn't get out of bounds, and that was critical. 103.
Pearson got the tackle. And now Miami will stop the clock. Now they'll take a timeout. 101. Oh, and Tom Smith can still take a deep breath.
He burned off some incredible emotional energy as well as the physical energy.
And joining with Perkins to support the...
And don't forget, a second half for our doubleheader. Denver, their record is 10-2, and the Raiders, their record is 6-6.
Charlie, I know this game is being seen down in Arkansas, and some of the good people who were there to put their arms around you and say, welcome home, honored graduate, distinguished graduate, Charlie Jones.
Yeah, at homecoming 3 weeks ago.
They won that game, too, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They won yesterday.
And they're going to the Cotton Bowl.
Going to the Cotton Bowl.
And it was great to be back. I went to senior walk, and I dusted it off. My name is still there. They
didn't dust you off? Speaking of bowls, we're looking forward to the bowl we're going to do, the Fiesta Bowl. Looking forward to that ball game.
And by the way, I had dinner at Catfish Hole number 2, your favorite restaurant. They all said say hello. Do a little housekeeping. Our executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The coordinating producer of NFL football is Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast is being produced by Larry Cirillo, directed by Dick Klein. NFL Live produced by David Neal, directed by Bucky Guntz. NFL Live News producer Ricky Diamonds. Stephen Richard, our technical director.
Time is running out on the Miami Dolphins.
Third down. Knocked away. Greg Meiser got it.
Meiser into the game for Neil Smith. Meiser picked up from the Rams Plan B acquisition. Another one of those building blocks for this defense is filled in nicely. And there, Neil said, I'm gassed up. I'm ready to go. Got a little oxygen. I can go back in there now. Meisner drawing congratulations as he comes off the field. A well-played game by these Kansas City Chiefs.
4th and 4.
Maybe the last gasp for Miami. Touchdown.
Jensen's got it. The fat lady has just started to hum. She's not singing yet.
She's tuning up, Charlie, but she's got to survive an onside kick before she can sing. And Jim Jensen dropped 2 passes last week. One was intercepted, dropped a couple of passes early today. He's now come back to catch 2 touchdown passes. Fine play, good hands, just outraced a couple of defenders into the end zone.
And the extra point, Pianovich. It's good. (26-21) with 53 seconds remaining.
A clearing pattern on the outside. A chance to watch it from the outside. Watch this receiver clear through. Jensen in motion will just break it into the end zone, able to find enough room on the outside and then just outrun the defenders. Number 57, Chris Martin. Number 29, Albert Lewis, trying desperately to get there, but they couldn't catch up with Jensen on that play.
An 80-yard drive in 16 plays. It took just over 4 minutes.
The trade-off there for the Kansas City defense, time. They made them take a lot of time on that drive, and now even if they do convert on this onside kick, and the good hands people are out there, they're all out there, Charlie.
53 seconds remaining. Kansas City, it is the last thing that they do on their Saturday practice is the onside skip. And don't forget, coming up next, Denver and the Raiders in the Coliseum, the second half of the doubleheader.
Well, I know a little bit about the onside kick. In fact, the last time I was here, they sent me over to receive.
You were a guest good hands man.
Good hands man, and I got skinned up in the process, but I was catching one of Lowry's. I'd never caught one of Stoyanovic's kick. And this is an art. This is an art, and this is something that you spend hours on if you're an NFL kicker, practicing for this moment when you get a chance to try and kick a strange hopping kick.
You wanted to hit a couple of times and then bounce in the air over the first line so that your men can capture it. It has to go 10 yards. That's the key.
Has to go 10.
It goes 10. It is recovered by Kansas City.
Well, the good hands people had very good hands on that play.
Emil Harry, number 86.
You put the receivers out there, the defensive backs, and Emil Harry knew exactly what to do with that ball. Watch him go to the ground and cover it. Covers it with his body.
And now it is time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP, there he is, number 35, Christian Okoye, over 100 yards for the 7th time this season. Budweiser make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected in all of today's games.
You notice that arrowhead on the helmet points straight ahead. That's the way Okoye has been going all day long.
And the way the Kansas City Chiefs have been going, as their defense has really come to life.
Miami calling timeout. A few bouquets should be tossed to Kurt Schottenheimer, special teams coach. They've been burned a couple of times early in the year on special teams, and Marty brought his brother along with him to coach special teams here, and that last play certainly a very important one in this victory.
And Kansas City's record will be 6-6-1. The Dolphins' record will be 7-6. They meet again in Miami in 3 weeks.
Don Shula said something interesting about schedules. Everybody pointed to his schedule and say, boy, you've got a soft schedule late in the year. They pointed to 2 games with Kansas City. But he said, sometimes it's not the teams you play, but when you play them. You did want to catch Kansas City as they got hot late in the year. 2 games against Kansas City early in the year might have been a pretty good deal. Not so when they're hot like they are right now.
And at the beginning of the telecast, you said to have a playoff chance, you've got to win the last 4. And to win the last 4, you've got to win the first of the 4. And that is this ball game.
Well, let's not count the Miami Dolphins out yet. They still have a chance to get in there, but they've lost the last 2 ball games after a brilliant 6-7 run in midseason, and that puts them in some real anguish. That puts Marty Schottenheimer's troops in contention.
But by the way, let's not leave the telecast without a small kudo to Dan Marino, playing injured and almost pulling it off.
If he had been given more opportunities, he may well have done that. But, Charlie, we said at the beginning of the game, you go with your best. And Kansas City rode their best horse, Okoye, and their defense to this victory.
And here is the final score. Kansas City 26, Miami 21. And coming up the second half of the doubleheader, the Denver Broncos in the Coliseum against the Raiders in Los Angeles. For Merlin and Charlie, happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you next week.